Hello and welcome to the IBM Institute for Business Value Study Screencast Series. This is Rebecca Shockley. I'm the BAO Global Lead within the IBV, and I'm here to provide you with the key talking points that you'll want to discuss with your clients about analytics, the new path to value. For this study, IBM partnered with MIT Sloan Management Review, a leading business management magazine, and we surveyed more than 3,000 global participants in more than 100 countries representing more than 30 industries. Our objective was to understand how organizations are operationalizing analytics. Our first finding was that analytics correlates to performance. What we found was that sophisticated users of analytics are 3 times more likely to outperform their competitors than those who are just starting down the analytic journey. Moreover, top-performing organizations are 5.4 times more likely to use analytics versus intuition to make any given strategic or tactical decision. This means that top-performing organizations are those who are putting analytics into action every day. The primary obstacles to analytic adoption are knowledge and bandwidth. These organizational issues manifest themselves in the number one issue, which was that executives lack the understanding of how to leverage analytics to deliver business value, and secondly, they lack the management bandwidth to invest the time to figure it out. Concerns with the data or accessibility to the data were lower down on the list, and financial concerns were at the very bottom of the list, meaning that most executives find the data quality within their organization not to be an obstacle, and they're willing to invest the money once they can understand the value that can be delivered. Business leaders also want tools and techniques to enable them to see the insights more clearly. As we said, the top obstacle was that executives weren't clear how to leverage the analytics to deliver value. They want tools and techniques such as visualization, simulations, and scenarios that will help them understand the value that analytics can deliver and the potential trade-offs that they're making with any given decision. They also want tools and techniques that will enable them to apply the analytics within business processes so that they can be leveraged even by non-analytical users within their organization. Based on our findings within the study, and there are additional ones in the study online, we've come up with what we call the new path to value. It's a 5-point approach to operationalizing analytics. Each one of the recommendations on this path has 3 primary management payoffs. Each step reduces the time to value, drives sustainable change, and creates achievable steps along the path that enable business leaders to realize value more quickly, sustain it over time, and create a difference within their organization. The first recommendation is to think big, to focus on the biggest and highest value opportunities within the organization. There's a natural inclination when starting something new, either within your department or as an enterprise endeavor, to focus on something small, something off to the side that maybe no one will notice if something goes wrong. It may seem counterintuitive, but the biggest challenges don't necessarily carry the greatest risks. On the contrary, by focusing on the biggest and highest value opportunities, what business leaders find is that they're able to rally top talent, get management attention and support for their endeavors, and create momentum within the organization as they realize the potential and the payoffs that analytics can deliver to the organization. Our second recommendation is that within each one of these opportunities, to start with the questions, not the data. By understanding what questions you're trying to solve for, what answers will help you tackle this challenge most efficiently, you start to frame what data that you would need for a particular endeavor. A natural inclination within organizations is to start with the data, to understand what data they have available to address the issue, rather than understanding what the issue is that they're trying to solve. Not only does focusing on the data first tie up valuable resources working on data that may not actually be needed yet, but it also delays the point at which insights can start to be delivered and, more importantly, acted upon. Our third recommendation is to take the insights delivered through the questions that you've asked about this big challenge and to drive those insights into actions and to deliver value within the organization. Embedding insights can be achieved in a number of different ways. In a planning or development stage, it could be done through scenarios or simulations, modeling trade-offs or payoffs that may happen based on events that will occur in the future. For an operational approach, these insights can be embedded within the business processes into everyday operations using tools like iLog that create business rules that help determine the appropriate action given the conditions at that moment in that particular situation. Decisions that will deliver value and drive change through the organization. Our fourth recommendation is to keep existing capabilities while adding new ones. There's a natural inclination to want to put aside what you've done in the past. In particular, one of the areas that we see this most in is with the location of where analytics are performed within the organization. There's a fairly predictable pattern that analytics starts within an organization at a very specific point of need, a particular executive looking around for someone who can help him answer the questions that he needs answered to make his decisions thoughtfully and carefully. Over time, these point of need analysts coalesce into line of business analytic organizations. As the organization continues to grow and more analytics are needed at a cross-enterprise level, we see the rise of a centralized analytic unit. Quite often, executives believe that as they begin to coalesce into a centralized unit, that they need to get rid of the analysts within the line of business. What we found is that the opposite is actually true. By keeping the existing capabilities while adding the new ones, they're able to leverage the work that they've already done. Moreover, centralized units serve as a place for governance and for shared resources with deeply technical skills that are often difficult for organizations to find. By having these shared services in a centralized unit, they're more effectively utilized across the organization. However, what they lack in the centralized unit is generally a deep understanding of how the business operates. It's the line of business unit analysts who really understand what's going to drive the most value and how to apply these insights most effectively to transform an organization. And finally, we recommend that you use an information agenda to plan for the future. Organizations who are starting down this path often hop off in very chaotic ways, with multiple projects running at the same time. As we've seen with the rise of BI over the past few years, an unorganized approach can lead to analytic islands and information fiefdoms within the organization. By using an information agenda, an outline of how analytics will be leveraged within the organizations, an information agenda that creates an architecture, a set of standards, and governance practices to provide a structure in which the analytic activities can take place, will enable you to build out your analytic platform concurrent with the analytic activities you have underway, and enable you to develop a much more robust analytic platform and minimize the amount of rework or the amount of rework needed to complete the effort. We believe these 5 recommendations taken together create a path that organizations can take to leverage analytics to drive value within their organization. For a complete copy of the study, please download it at www.ibm.com/gbs/bao. We also have a BVA coming out later in January 2011 that'll help you jumpstart analytic activities within your client organizations. If you have questions or need more information or study-related materials, please feel free to reach out to me, Rebecca Shockley, at rshock at us.ibm.com. Thank you for your time, and have a great day.